Hello, everyone. My name is Nkechi, and I'm going to be your host for today's webinar. I'm here with two amazing people of Credit Direct. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, everyone. Nice to be here today. My name is Emeka Enwere, and I head strategy and organizational performance for Credit Direct. Thank you.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. So nice being here. My name is Angela Oluwawedeji. I'm a Treasury Operations Specialist, the lead of Treasury Operations for Credit Direct.
Thank you very much. We can't express our gratitude enough for being here today. So today's webinar, the topic for today is effective salary planning in today's economy. Emphasis on today's economy because we all know that what Sodiaki could buy last year cannot buy again. So like a little icebreaker conversation. What's one thing that you could get last year, but now maybe you have to save like 2 times to get? Could be land, car.
Would I even need to go that far? You know what, Nkechi, I was discussing with a friend 2 weeks ago. I like taking red wine in the evening after dinner because it helps with my digestion. I can't remember the last time I took a bottle of wine. It's become too expensive, and now it's a luxury.
Last year, Angela, what's
This morning, right when we're having our KSS session with the team, we're still talking about the economy and things that has improved or have been affected drastically. We made example of noodles that we used to buy when we were maybe in university or some couple of years back, about 15 naira, and we were talking about the price of noodles today, and you can't even imagine, and heck as well.
exactly everything has like gone up. So you guys can put it in the comment section. What is one thing that you could afford last 2 years, that now you have to save up to get? So the first question I'm starting with is, how can people effectively use their salaries to meet both their needs and financial goals? I would start with you, Angela, because you're a finance person. So people have different financial goals. Some people say they want to before the end of the year they must have saved like 5 million naira, and maybe they have needs of like maybe they want to get an iPhone or they want to get a MacBook. How can they save up and still get the things they want?
Okay. First off, right, what to do is to have a budget. First know how much your total income is for. It can be monthly or it can be quarterly. Depends on how well you want to keep track on how well you want to do it. Then once you have your source of income, highlight all the incomes you're getting for the month, or if it's quarterly, for the quarter. List out the expenses in order of priority. Your needs and your wants. Separate what your food items are. Separate what your housing materials are, groceries are. Separate everything like that. And your wants are things that are not your everyday to do cost, but at some point you would need them. So you can highlight them in order of hierarchy, right? And then choose, or you can also include some treats for yourself as well, because everybody wants treats at one point, right? So have the budget, follow the budget as religious as you can, because it's not up to us now. Except you want to lie to yourself that there are some unexpected or emergency funds or expenses that would show up that might not be in your budget, but you'd have to spend money on. So you also have to have an amount for that to cater for it when such occasion arises. Follow your budget. Another thing you can do is have different streams of income. You might be a salary earner, but it's also nice to also have some side hustles. Not really ones that would affect. It shouldn't even affect your main employment. So something small, but brings in income 1 or 2 times, and those income can be used to cater for some expenses, maybe weekend expense or maybe a treat or something. Another thing you can do is also have things of the things you want. So, for example, there's a logic that says have your income splitted into 50, 30, 20, 50% of your expenses, that's your needs, 30% of your wants, and 20% of your savings. No matter how small your income is, there's always this advice that you save as little as you can. Don't spend all your money, yes, at once. It's always good, no matter how, even if it's just an extra income or someone sends an extra funds to you, maybe just a surprise money. It's always good to put aside a certain percentage of that to your savings or your investments.
Thank you. That was beautifully said. Rebecca, as a strategy person, any strategy
Don't tell
on,
me.
on how people can effectively use their income to meet both their needs and their financial goals?
Yeah, I think that's a very, very pertinent question. And this is the reason why. Everything is possible because you mentioned two contrasting things: needs, which are short term and non essential or discretionary, and then your financial goals, which are more long term and concrete things you want to achieve. I think everything is possible. It's all the matter of planning and timing. Remember when we had the icebreaker session, you asked, what do you do initially that now you have to save before you do that? That's timing. You can still get whatever you want, but not immediately. Now, one confusion people have is once you have a need, it has to be met immediately. That's not how life works. With planning, you can get everything you want. The only difference is the timing when it happens. And my colleague Jola spoken about budgeting. Budgeting is all about planning and prioritization, right? You plan on how to allocate your resources based on your priorities. You can still get everything, but it won't happen at the same time. I think that's the key concept we have to take away here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You both answered our questions like beautifully. So there's something that you both said that kept recurring: budgeting. Budgeting is very important, and to make it easier, we have a budgeting template on our website at www.creditdirect.ng, so you can download it, and it's very effective for budgeting. It helps you budget wisely. So the second question is for you, Angela. For singles struggling to make their salary last.
Wait.
For singles struggling to
I'm
make...
not in that category.
You
Don't
can't
worry,
relate.
I'm sure you have something for married too.
For singles struggling to make their salary last, what are some unnecessary expenses they can cut without drastically affecting their lifestyle?
That would be impulsive buying.
Very common.
It's very common, except you want to lie to yourself, right? At some point, every one of us has been an impulsive buyer. So I'm not saying it's bad to see something you like and then go for it. You go for it when you've saved enough to know that if I buy this, I won't be affected. I won't have to start eating from hand to mouth. It won't affect my savings. I won't start begging or trying to cut down a lot of things. If we can reduce the number of impulsive buying or reduce our budget for impulsive buying, it's going to help us. Dining and taking out, ordering foods, child daycare, global dare, instead of preparing something sharply at home. So I think if we can cut that, it would save a lot. You don't have to also cook every day, cook in bulk, or get someone that cooks for you in bulk. Have it stocked up in your fridge. Just bring out what you want to eat at that point, and then microwave it, or reduce the number of out of the dining out and the takeouts, right? You can also have hangouts that would mean that let's come home. Let's have a movie night. Let's have a pillow night, or something creative. Not necessarily you going outdoor to have all the fun. You can also have all the fun at home. So far, it's with beautiful people. I think it's the memory that matter, not really about how glamorous or how glam worthy it is. So far, it's with the people you love and people that share the same minds with you. I think it's the experience that is more important than how glam it is. I think that'll be it for being single.
For being single. Thank you, Angela, for giving us get together tips. Emeka, for married, for people with family, married people.
Now you're talking.
When planning a salary for a family, what should partners consider to make sure the household financial needs are met?
I was just thinking about my life when I was still single. Marriage and family complicates a whole lot. Because now you're not just planning for one person, you're planning for your spouse and your family. All right? So the first thing is prioritization, right? You need to separate your needs from your your necessary what is necessary, right? And for married families, for married people, the kids come first. So you have to first meet the needs of the kids. That means their food, what they need for school, that has to be sorted out first before you start considering the adults, right? So the first thing is priority. Know what is important and what is unnecessary. The second thing for family is to cut down on the things that are not necessary. Cut down on the cost. For example, you must not put the air conditioner on all the time. Put off the AC. Yeah. When you're not in the room, turn off the lights. It saves electricity bills. You don't need to eat your plate of soup with 10 pieces of meat. You can just do 2 meats. You're not growing anymore. Leave it for the kids. Right? And also something we do at home, my wife and I, initially we used to have like a section in the pantry for snacks. Because we like snacking a lot. Now, is this important? Yeah, it's not really. So we've cut down on the snacks, the plantain chips, biscuits and stuff. But we make sure the essentials are always there, right? There's always food in the freezer. There's always food in the fridge. Even drinks. With the inflation we have in Nigeria today, you need to cut down on the drinks because they are non-essentials. Just stick to water. You can have drinks once in a while. So these are the little things you need to do. And of course, from time to time, you need to review because prices are changing on a weekly basis. So you need to review your list, your budget regularly in order to stay within your plan. Thank you.
Differentiate your essentials from your non-essentials. I hope you guys are able to take a lot from this. First, before I answer this ask this question, I'm going to throw in one. Now, do you believe that when people earn more, they tend to spend more? Do you believe that?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. But first, I would personally want to ask, why is that? Because when you were earning little, when you were earning as little as 50k, you were okay and you were buying. Why is that? Why does that happen every time?
It's something they call lifestyle inflation. I think it's driven by keeping up with the Joneses mentality. I give, for example, in a corporate setting, all the managers in CDL are driving SUVs, and I'm still driving my old sedan. If I get any uptake in income, I'm gonna go for an SUV because all people at my level are driving SUVs.
Yeah.
I think this is what drives escalation in spending as you get more income. From my point of view,
Yes.
Angela, I don't know about you.
Yes, I think the fact that because we have the extra income, we feel our lifestyle should also show that we have that. Like we moved from one grade to another. Everything about us has to reflect that.
I'm not where I used to be.
I'm not where I used to be. I've increased in this area, so it has to show.
Yeah.
I think that's it majorly.
So now, as people earn more, they often spend more. How can one prevent lifestyle inflation and ensure that salary increase actually improve their financial situation? Some people, when they earn more, they even become maybe bankrupt. You hear some people saying they are owing a lot because maybe they know that they're collecting maybe like 1 million. So some of them even start borrowing and like, my salary can afford it and
Yes.
you go bankrupt. So how can people prevent lifestyle inflation and ensure that salary increase actually improve their financial situation?
Yeah, so for me, it's when you talk about personal finance, it's more about mindset. Yeah, it's about changing your mindset to the right mindset that drives financial prosperity, and it all boils down to discipline, financial discipline. And for me, the way I do it is simple. I subject it to a rule, right? Because if you leave it to the human ability to take the right decision, there will always be flaws because humans are fickle, right? So I just put a rule. Every month, I pay myself a personal allowance. A portion of my salary goes to my personal allowance. So regardless of what I'm earning, I stick to my personal allowance. I can't spend on discretionary things outside my personal allowance. So it doesn't matter how much extra income comes or bonus comes, I stick to that personal allowance. So it's a rule. Once my salary comes, it goes to a savings account, and the only thing left in my account is my allowance. Yeah, because if you don't take care of your money, it will go wild. I think that's the safest way to deal with it.
I think Emeka has answered it all. Yes, he has. Discipline. Discipline is a very big need when it comes to that. So Angela, I'll be asking you something else. So I'm asking you, for individuals with tight salaries, what are some creative ways to save money without feeling deprived? Individuals with very tight salaries.
I think one thing that they should know is don't lie to yourself. And don't compare yourself with other people. Accept what you have and try to work with what you have. I think a lot of people try to compare themselves with people around them. That even though they know that what I am earning now is nothing compared to what the person I'm comparing myself to is earning. But you also want to live the same lifestyle. That's you lying to yourself. You putting yourself on the run to meet up with a person. But it's not that easy for you. You don't have to copy the person's lifestyle. Try to manage with what you have. Try to work with what you have. Try to have an account. So if you have an so I have a friend, right, that's like my financial accountability partner. We talk about our expenses together. So for January, right, we set out things we would want to achieve or goals that we have for the year. At interval, we try to meet up to say, okay, this and this, where have you gotten to at this point? You said we were going to achieve this. What is the status of that now? Right? Having a tight salary doesn't mean you should stop doing things that would help you. Doesn't mean you shouldn't save. Doesn't mean that even though your salary is that small, right, you shouldn't save a portion of it. Doesn't mean you can't cut down on your expenses. You can even be living way better than someone that is earning a lot because you have savings. You are prudent enough to know that I don't need to spend everything I'm earning now, even though my salary is not that a lot. So I think not lying to yourself and not comparing yourself with other people would help you know that you have to work within your budget. You have to manage your expenses. You have to look for ways around some things, some expenses that you can do it yourself. Check YouTube on how to work around some things in your house, some things about your car, your repair. You don't need to necessarily call everybody at the point of fixing something. You can fix some things by yourself. Call on your neighbor to try to fix some things for you as well, right? Not every time seeking out or looking out to paying expenses or for services that if you take your time to go through, it will be sorted and it will reduce your expense.
Thank you very much, Angela. So, Emeka, can you please answer that in your own?
Yeah, I have a quote, and it says, "One does not give out of the abundance of the pocket, but out of the abundance of the heart." So for somebody to give a giver, it doesn't mean that person will have to be rich first before he starts giving.
Yeah.
It's a mindset. So even when you don't have money, you can give your time. Yeah. You can show empathy. So giving is the mindset. So is saving. So you don't save only when you have a comfortable salary. Yeah. It's mindset. You have to start saving from day one. If you can't save when you have a tight salary, when you have an amazing salary, you won't save.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why I said this whole thing about personal finance is mindset. So even without your rule, your little salary, subject it to a rule. Say, okay, every month, 10% of my salary goes to saving. I make no decision about it. You can even automate it. From your salary account, it goes to a saving account. That's the only way you learn that discipline. And without that discipline, you can't achieve any financial goal. So it's that mindset, and the earlier you learn it in your career, the better for you. Thank you.
First, you have to say discipline. Another creative way is you can go on YouTube and learn DIY. Do it yourself.
Do it yourself.
Yes. You don't have to call carpenter or electrician every time. You can do it yourself. YouTube, that's the good thing about technology now. YouTube has everything.
Correct.
Everything, every video, just search and you will find it. So the next question is, how can people make the most out of bonuses, raises, or extra income to improve their overall salary planning? This is for people that get bonuses, raise, or some people 3 years nothing. So how can people make the most of bonuses, raises, or extra income to improve their overall salary planning? Angela.
Okay. So first would be for the fact that you have those bonuses doesn't mean your expenses would equate those bonuses or those extra income. Try to save a huge percentage of that compared to spending it, compared to adding it to your income for expenses. So instead of you having a budget on how you're going to spend it, I think it's better for you to save it instead. Like Emeka said, you said you can automate your savings, right? That this fund came in, it's unplanned for. I don't have expense for it. Let me just automate the saving, right? Let it just go to my savings. Later on, it would fall into something that would be long term, which would then now be used to get something more realistic, something more material that would serve you or add to your long-term financial goal, rather than you saving it in the now because you received it now. Another thing would also be what there's this word, your expenses shouldn't grow as much as your income has grown. So no matter how, so let's say you have this extra bonus of 50%, your expense shouldn't grow close to 20% because you're thinking, okay, I have an extra 50% income, so I think my expense can grow by 25. No, you were fine with the zero, so try to still live up with the zero, right? Or at most live up to 10% and let the greater percentage of it go to your savings.
Thank you very much, Emeka.
So for me, I like to think in terms of first principles, and this is what it is. If you don't have a plan ab initio, once money comes in, it goes away. Right? Have you ever gone shopping without having a list? Everything you see becomes attractive. But if you have a list, it helps you to focus, even though you might derail a bit, but it won't be as bad as you walking into a shopping mall without a list. Same thing, it comes with planning your finances. If you've not detailed your plan at the beginning of the year, at the beginning of the quarter, at the beginning of the month, whatever money comes, whether it's a salary or bonus, it will go out, right? So if you have a plan, I give you for example, like I said, money does not remain in my salary account. Once it goes, what remains is just my personal allowance. Every other thing goes to saving. So if someone comes, a friend comes and says, Emeka, please borrow me some money, my immediate response is, I have no money, right? But imagine you have your bonus, it's still in your account, you don't have any plans for it, and someone comes, you'll be conflicted. I have this money, should I say I don't have money or not? You don't have plan for your money, other people have plans for that money. Yeah? So have a plan ab initio, and when money comes, you know what to do with it immediately.
have a plan, guys. Please take notes and you can send in your questions. We'll also be sending out a poll this evening where you can ask your questions and we'll answer accordingly. So the last question for today is, with inflation at its highest in years, how can people adjust their salary planning to cope with the rising cost of goods and services? For instance, people that used to buy a bag of rice now, that was like 40k when your salary was like 200, and now your salary is still 200, but rice is now 90k. How can they adjust their salary planning to cope with the rising cost of goods and services? You're still not here.
For me, it's very clear. Number one on my list is substitution. If you are taking Heineken before, take Ogogoro. If we're eating salmon, take Titus fish. If you are eating poundo every time, there's Gario, right? So substitution is number one. It doesn't mean you don't take what you're taking, but you go for the cheaper option. Yeah. Substitution. Number two, you have to track your expenses and cut the excesses. Are there subscriptions you don't really use, right? You subscribe for the gym for the past 6 months. You've gone only twice. Cut it. You subscribe to streaming service. You only watch it once in a month. Cut it off. And then remove all the non-essentials, right? Is it important to go out dining all the time? Like my sister said, make a quick meal at home, right? You used to go into the cinema, film house. Make your home your cinema. And for me, there's one fundamental rule. The more you go out, the more you spend. Yeah. Make your home comfortable. Stay at home.
Stay at home. That's what I'll see you face.
I would say, like Emeka said, try to track your expenses. You don't need to go extra. Your mobile app can do the tracking by yourself. So whatever, as you're making the transfer, just you're clicking to say this and this is what this is for. You don't need to start thinking twice, right? As you're tracking your expenses, you'll see the result on a monthly basis. You've already put in the budget for the month there. As you're spending the money, as you're doing your transfer, your mobile app is saying this is the amount you have left for these expenses. So try to do that. Then also invest wisely. Don't invest or in someone. So if someone borrows you or you borrow someone money, right? Invest wisely. Because you have extra funds doesn't mean you should just be sitting in your account. Transfer the funds to, there are mutual funds. There are things that you can use. There's a savings. Credit Direct has a saving platform, right? It's called Yield by Credit Direct. No matter how small it is, you will get a very good percentage interest rate on the investment. So it's not until you have 1 million or you have 500, as small as 50,000, you transfer to that. It, instead of it sitting idle in your account, it generates income for you. It generates money for weekends, money for movie, money for popcorn, money for drinks. No matter how small it is, your money would be working for you instead of sitting in your bank account. Another thing would be trying to reduce your expenses. Like Emeka said, not every day you eat turkey. There's this joke in my office, right? So whenever I want to buy food, I like turkey, so I order turkey almost every time, right? But due to this change in the economy, you know, it's not every time you get to order for turkey because it's increasing, the prices are increasing, and your taste bud will just know that this turkey today is not the same turkey of yesterday. Let me change my taste, right? So try to also substitute some things for luxury. You can choose the days or choose a time you would give yourself a special treat. Not every time. Try to cut those slack to save for a special treat. It's going to help save some expenses, help you accrue some or save for extra income, and it will give you interest as well, which would later cater on for other expenses.
Thank you very much, Angela.
Okay, so question. In today's economy, is it better to save or invest? Or which one is the way?
Should they save or should they invest? Sometimes you can just save in maybe your bank and like you said, no interest.
Yeah.
It's just there.
I think it's better to invest actually, because savings, like you said, saving in your bank is, how much is the bank going to give you for five? Maybe it's 5 naira. At the end of the month, you just see interest paid on balance 5 naira. But that money, right, instead of sitting in your account, if you put it in mutual funds, put it in some assets, get some asset acquisition also has a way of appreciating, right? If you're into real estate, right, getting a land now in the next 6 months or 1 year won't be the same price. The land would have appreciated. If you don't have that enough funds to get a land now, you can look for other commodities. Investing in agric as well, right, can also help. Investing in mutual funds, there are different mutual funds that you can look into. The rates are good, right? So instead of the money sitting pretty in your account, put your money to work. Let your money generate income for you. No matter how small you think the income is, or no matter how small you even think your money is, you might be like, it's just 20,000 I have. That 20,000 that is sitting in your account can do some work for you. Can even help you save transport fare to work the next day. So that's how little it is, right? But it's going to work for you.
So in other words, investment.
Yes, investment.
Yeah, so thinking about it critically, I think people should both save and invest. Because saving is a bit different from investment, right? Savings helps you to accumulate the fund, and when you've reached the critical mass for investing, then you put it into investment. Because you have to know that it's not everybody that is earning large sums, right? Some people earn in trickles, so they can only save in small amounts, right? So savings helps you to accumulate your funds till they reach the critical mass for investment, because different investment vehicles have several entry levels, right? So you might not have that entry level from day one. So you need to save, attain critical mass, and then invest. And in investing, people must understand risk and return relationship, right? So when you're starting off, you don't invest in very risky vehicles, right? So the goal is start investing in money markets, like Angela said, which is pretty safe, right? And when you start earning interest and you've accrued enough interest, then the interest you can put in riskier investment. Even if you lose that, you still have your principal in your safe investments. So I think savings and investments should go hand in hand.
That will be all for today. Like I said earlier, we will be having a poll on our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn where you can send in your questions. Please do so, as we'll be answering them all accordingly. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having
and
us.
that will be all, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.